Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. I see a few new faces out there. I'm the spiritual director here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills. If you're looking for O'Grady's, if you had a rough night, you'll have to wait now. We're going to close the doors. You can go afterwards, which is a very Irish experience, by the way. You go to church, and then you go to the pub afterwards, or shop. True. Just saying. Well, at least in our family's little village. So, welcome. We welcome all who practice their beliefs and faith and love. And we do have a thing called that we like to do here called Hugs and Handshakes, where we welcome everyone. And so just take it easy on the new folks. Remember, handshake first. All right. So let's just take a moment and check in with each other.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Who needs coffee? It's warm in here now, huh? Yeah. It wasn't earlier. I don't know what happened. All right, so please help me welcome our presider this morning, my old pal, Wayne McDonald. Yes. We've been through a lot of classes together over the years. Yes, we have. All right, so as we bring the lights down, let's all take a deep, conscious breath together, releasing, relaxing, surrendering into this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Wayne lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the four noble truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Wayne lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only
Join me in this opening treatment and invite you to close your eyes if you wish. And just know, God is, I am. God is that love, that beauty, that joy. And I just know that I am that love, that beauty in action in and through all areas of my life. I trust and know that this day is guided to the highest and best. I know that I am vibrant health, I'm comfort and joy, and I just allow myself to surrender to that truth. And anything that I'm seeking answers to, or just not having the best day, I could surrender all of it into that all-knowing, all-powerful source that we know as God. Life is good. Life is vibrant. And with a grateful heart, I give thanks for this service. I give thanks for each and every person here today. And I give thanks for all the good that demonstrates throughout this day. Knowing this is so, I release and let go, knowing it's complete and done, and together we say, and so it is. Welcome. I'm Wayne McDonald. I'm one of the practitioners. And this past week, I've been doing a walking meditation when I leave the metro station, walking over to work. And it's really a short walk. It's only maybe about 10 minutes. And it's been very interesting with our time change because sometimes I'm in the dark and sometimes the sun's coming out. What a walking meditation is, it is a mindful, open-eye meditation. And I begin it with simply saying, God is, I am. And as you're observing, there really isn't any necessary need for words. You basically can walk along, you see the trees, And as you're looking at the tree, God is, I am. And you look at the tree and you see the texture of the bark. You listen to the wind. What does everything feel around you? Looking at the details. As I was sitting here this morning, this flower arrangement is a perfect example of what a walking meditation is. Observe the colors. Observe the textures, the shape, everything about it. A walking meditation is a great way to feel deeper connection to God by focusing on your heart center and allowing yourself to feel and know that love is always there, to feel and know that God is, to look at the sun rising in the morning, and to use all your senses to feel that connection to God. I know that I am one with God, and God is beauty, and I am beautiful. Ernest Holmes says, no one has seen God, no one has seen life. What we have seen is the manifestation of life. We do not see beauty. The artist feels beauty and depicts it as best as he or she can. A walking meditation takes very little time. It is as simple as breathing in a conscious way. Another example is instead of just walking from your car to the parking lot and to the grocery store, just notice as you're walking that short distance that as you're grabbing your shopping cart, that somebody had the idea to create that shopping cart. It first started with a thought, and from that thought, somebody designed that shopping cart. And from there, somebody got the raw materials and created the shopping cart. As you can see, a walking meditation can be as simple as observing something as simple as a flower arrangement, or it can be a trip down Alice in Wonderland and going down a deep rabbit hole, and you can start observing and noticing more detail around you. And to you I say, love, peace, and joy, and so it is.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. We're still celebrating. Please welcome Mr. Kent McMore on the upright bass. Yes, Mr. David O'Levis on the Irish whistle. Erica McFrancis on percussion down here. And making our jigs even more jiggy, please welcome Miss Eden Livingood. Well, this next tune is a song requested by Reverend Mike. Hope you enjoy it. Hangs slowly, child is slowly taken, and the violence caused such silence. Who are we mistaken? But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In your head, they are crying. Another mother's breaking, heart is taking over. When the violence causes silence, we must be mistaken. It's the same old thing since 1916. In your head, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In your head, they're still dying. In your head, zombie, zombie. What's in your head? In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In your head, they are crying. In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. Yeah, what's in your head? In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. Yeah, yeah. What's in your head? Yeah. Thank you.
That was amazing. Yes. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Was a good choice, Rev. Wow, what a beautiful song. Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. It's wonderful to be here. I'm going to highlight some announcements this morning. Wow. You look great. It's wonderful to see this place as full as it is today. Of course, because we have our annual general membership meeting today. So after service, we'll have a potluck, and then our general membership meeting from 12:30 till approximately 3:30. Maybe we'll shorten it a little bit. Abraham Hicks group today is canceled. So this week, beginning on Tuesday, March 20th at 7 o'clock, we're beginning a new second week of the Foundations class, which Reverend Mike is facilitating. Wednesday, March 21st is Spiritual Sangha Spiritual Cinema, second week, I believe. Wednesday, also March 21st, we have a wonderful healing meditation group on Wednesday nights. Service, and boy, Wednesday night we had 15 people here, which was really good. It's a wonderful opportunity to come and just expand our awareness together in the silence. It's a beautiful, beautiful healing meditation service every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Sunday, March 28th at 1 o'clock, we have our bereavement support group. And then beginning March 28th, also, Sangha Be the Change Wednesday mornings at 9:30 a.m. I guess that's a series of 8 classes starting on March 28th. And then beginning April 5th, which is a Thursday night, we're having a class called Meditation. It's More Than You Think. And that's going to be for 8 Thursdays, beginning, like I said, on April 5th. Saturday, April 7th, Anton Miserak and Laura Berryhill will be here in concert. You've probably heard their music while you were getting a massage at some point. They've been here several times, and I hope you'll come join us for that on Saturday, April 7th at 7 o'clock. Saturday, a lot going on here, right? It's like I see eyes glazing over. Wait till you hear me at the general membership meeting. So let me just say this about that. Please mark your calendars for Saturday, May 5th, 7 o'clock is our Spring Fling fundraiser. Sorry? Sorry, 6 o'clock. Oh, it says 7 o'clock here, but it will be starting at 6 o'clock. The theme is Do You Believe in Magic? It's a wonderful opportunity for fellowship in a different setting. It's going to be beautiful. It's really going to be a wonderful event. So please remember to mark your calendars for Saturday, May 5th. And please check out our bookstore. Leslie has done a beautiful job revamping it. There's wonderful crystals and rocks and books and soaps and jewelry and purses and books and all kinds of wonderful things. So if you haven't been into the bookstore/gift shop, please check it out after service before you come to our general membership meeting. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
And if you will stand, we'll do the Declaration of Principles. And together, we believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural, incarnate in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates on the one mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever. We believe in eternal goodness, eternal loving kindness, and the forgiveness of life to all. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world.
Yeah. So let's give the band a hand, shall we? Nice job, Ken.
Thank you.
And Eden, always good to have you back. Yeah. We'll have to think up another reason for having a violin around. Yeah. So today's talk title, I Will Be Done, and it's brought to us by Reverend Elizabeth Rowley, or Rowley, or Rowley, not sure how to say it. And as you can see, who wouldn't be happy at Heavenly Valley? You survived the face and the magnificent view of Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe. And I thought I would take this opportunity to promote our Tahoe drawing next time we have it, which will be soon, because you too could hang out in the splendor of Lake Tahoe. So when we sell the tickets, make sure you get some to sell and to buy. It's a lovely little timeshare up there that our center owns, and we use it as a fundraiser. So keep an eye out for that. And keep an eye out for this fella, St. Patrick himself. So yesterday was a holy day of obligation. I hope you all made it to your neighborhood pub. Or as my Irish father would say about St. Patrick's Day, amateur night. Yeah, it's actually the worst night of the year to go out drinking because you can't get into any place, right? Maybe an Italian bar somewhere you can get into. I don't know. So, anyway, so this is outside of Askeaton. I actually took this photograph. It's a little shrine. There's shrines all over the place. There are wells. Wells are healing places in Ireland, throughout Ireland. This has a little spring in the middle of a field. You have to go tromping through the pasture to get to it. And in typical Irish fashion, it's at the intersection of 5 roads, right? So there's 5 points. It's more like a spoke rather than a crossroad. It's a very kind of a magical place, I suppose. And so enough of that. It is the 18th, but we're not quite done. So we have, and I wanted to thank Ken for tackling this song today in memory of Dolores O'Riordan, who was the songwriter, lead singer for the Cranberries, an Irish group. She was from Limerick City, which is right on the Shannon, and it's a particularly poignant song in that at the time when it was popular in the 90s, she was speaking to a couple of things. One is that the troubles in Northern Ireland, so 1916 was when the revolution started. The Irish finally were able to gain independence eventually for all but the 6 counties, and so that's what all the trouble's been about. Well, we won't get into that. Let's just say it's tragic, right? And yet this song kind of called everybody out. It's in your head, man. The bombs, the guns, the tanks, the struggle, it's in our head. That we're going around like zombies, surrendering to default patterns that are already within there, that it's time to heal. And in fact, Dolores was able to see, with a few other things. So remember, it'll come to me. There was from a distance, I see you are my friend. So that was very healing in Ireland. So music kind of brought people together to have a sense of oneness. Right? So, I mean, if you think about the congregational song, there's a sense of camaraderie and oneness as we lend our voice, right, to this activity, which is really kind of an expression of the soul, right? Music. Right? So I just wanted to put the song into its context because today there's still struggle. Today when I think of this song, I think of Syria. Right? I think of Iraq and many other places that we don't even know about, unfortunately. And so this teaching is uniquely poised to call forth in consciousness, right? In consciousness, to see a different way. To recognize and know that what we're looking out there and seeing is a product of our own perceptions. The ones that have been downloaded, the ones and our opinions that we have, and that we can reach beyond those and create a new reality that has peace and understanding and respect and love and tolerance in it. And in fact, this teaching is uniquely poised to do that because it is very inclusive. That's why we have this commitment to lighting the flames of faith. Because it's my opinion, perhaps you share it, that if we can understand that it's all one thing, we as the human family, right? That we're all one, we're not just the same, but we are the same. That we can have a different conversation, right? That really does know peace on earth, goodwill towards all men and women, right? So all of these things that we're seeing in the outer world are coming forth. It's being revealed to be healed. This is our opportunity, right? So for our generation, this is our work. And our work is done in consciousness. So we're being made aware in the outer world. We're being made aware. And awareness builds consciousness. The ABCs, right? So we've been speaking to this month's theme, Thy Will Be Done is just the next installment. We've been speaking to this idea that we are rooted in the divine. That's our theme for this month. You are rooted in the divine. And how we want to be vigilant with our consciousness in one key undertaking. And that is remembering at all times our oneness with the Spirit, our oneness with the divine. Now, if you find yourself struggling with that idea at times, that's okay, because Holmes himself recognized St. Patrick. Recognize this, that through every subtlety, by every illusion, by the logic of human experience, we are led from reality, large R reality, the nature of spirit, into our dream of separation. There's a dream of separation. So any of you who know Don Miguel Ruiz, this will be familiar. He uses the same metaphor. That it takes, Holmes says, it takes resolute thought, a poised mind. Poised means calm under pressure. A poised mind and a confident spirit to overcome this. It takes calm faith and quiet confidence in the supremacy of good and in the omnipotence of the law of good. Goes on to say that freedom from bondage is a thing we must inwardly perceive. And this perception, he says, this perception is the greatest of all perceptions. Right? That we are, in consciousness, we are first free. This is our divine birthright. And there's a component within us because the world kind of drags us down to say that we're not. The world wants to tell us that we are bound by indebtedness or our birth order or what country we're from or what gender we are or whom we love. And yet the truth is there is that within each one of us that has never been violated in any way, and this is. When we say there's only one thing, that's the spot. One power, one presence, one source, one living intelligence, expressing as you right now, in this moment, as you are right now, you are an expression of the divine in spite of what you think about that. That's the part I have to remember for myself, because I feel like I should be ascended by now. You guys laugh like you don't, what's going on with that? So we're one. We're one. So if this is so, then what about the idea of God's will? When we are one with the divine, then what's God's will for us? This is another one of those subtleties of thought that we've been playing around with this month that can sometimes have separation in them. What is God's will for you? Well, I can tell you what it is for today. For today, God's will for you is to attend our annual meeting after the second service. There's food, and if you're brand new, there's food. Know that you're welcome. And now, why is it important to come to the general meeting? If you've never been, and you know, they don't drone on, right? It's all in perception and in consciousness. Now, why is it important? Because if you've come from other faith traditions, this is a very democratic undertaking. So come see. We take your money, come see how it's spent. Right? We're casting a vision, and I want you in it. I want you in it. I want you to join us in exploring that vision and then calling it forth. That's really our opportunity to explore together. So, stick around afterwards. Now, God's will for us. Now, seriously, what is God's will for us? So I want you to just take a moment, take a deep breath, put your hand over your heart if you like, and just ask yourself, what is God's will for me? What is it? For after all, does it not say in the old prayer, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven? Now, is this yet another well-meaning yet subtle implication of separation from the divine, or is it something else? Is it an invitation to make manifest God's imperial rule as law, as one life, to make itself known to us as our life? The infinite, so the infinite and the finite, right, the cross, the infinite and the finite, an intersection where X marks the spot. Right? So right where you sit, X marks the spot. Right where you sit is where the finite and the infinite are one. That's a wild idea. That's a wild idea, I think. There's so much possibility in that. So much power. So much transformation. The promise of transformation. So, God's will, my will, finite versus infinite? Maybe? I don't know. So my will, how about this? My will, my conditioned will versus my truest, most authentic will. Or, how about this as God's will? God's nature and God's will are identical. Therefore, God's will is always for happiness, wholeness, peace, harmony, joy, freedom, self-expression, abundance, serenity, and so forth. So when you held your hand over your heart and you considered for a moment what God's will for you is, does it have that in it? Right? Are we calling forth when we consider God's will? Are we considering and calling forth wholeness, peace, harmony, joy, freedom, self-expression, abundance, serenity as our life? Or are we knowing limitation of some kind? Are we knowing that we are defined by our health issues or our bank balance or the car we drive or the neighborhood we live in? This is what we're really called to transform and to transcend, yeah? So, my will, God's will, how about one will? One will. My truest and most authentic will is the will of the heart, which is God's will and God's nature. The will of the heart. So here's the thing. When we're exploring this idea of being one with the divine, I don't know about you, but this is kind of how my process works. I'm a mental guy. That's why I like religious science. I'm a science guy. I'm a mechanic guy, right? I used to wrench on my own cars before they went electronic, right? I worked with my hands before ministry. It's a carpenter, as a matter of fact. Just saying. 12 employees. Grew up on the desert. Long hair, beard, the whole bit. That was me. And I crucified myself, of course. And then I became a minister. One will. My truest and most authentic will is the will of the heart, which is God's will and God's nature. So, what about the times when it doesn't work out the way I like? What about that? Is that God's will? I've had some pretty crummy things. Don't give me that God's will stuff. And yet, there's one power, one presence, one source, one life of God, expressing in, through, and as all of it. So intellectually, what I need to do then is to move down into the heart. Into the heart. Grieve that which must be released. Grieve it. Feel the feelings. Get vulnerable. Maybe even shed a few tears. What I just heard this recently. Tears are the palm of the heart. Right? Maybe we need to learn to think more as poets than scientists. Maybe we should be religious poets. So, considering this idea, God's will, my will, how about this? If we use the metaphor of a quarter, so a quarter is one coin with heads on one side and what's on the other? Tails. Yeah, sure. So there is no separation. There's not two coins, just two different sides of one coin. So heads, let's call heads the God side, the God self. So this is always for a freer, fuller, more expressed and expanded version of the self. It leads to a happy, whole, prosperous, joyful, compassionate, and free life. The tail side of the coin is the human experience. It represents every experience that has molded and shaped us along the way and brings us to this moment, right where we are, right now, sitting here. So in this way, then, sitting right where you are, right now, is a divine appointment. If we go down that thread a little more, that we have then, if this is a divine appointment, and there's only one mind, then we have called each other together to have an experience of what? To have an experience of the divine as each other. It's like the old story about the monastery that was down to 4 monks. And there was a visiting rabbi who came through, and he had an opportunity to take one of the monks aside. And he says to him, one of you is the Messiah. One of you is the Messiah. So he goes back to the monastery, and they said, so what did the old rabbi have to say? He said, one of us is the Messiah. And so, of course, the fellow who got the word, he first, God, could it be me? Could I be the Messiah? So they started wondering who it was. Well, it can't be It can't be Peter because he's grouchy, right? And it can't be Joe because he likes the wine too much. But they didn't know who it was, and each one within their own heart had to consider the possibility that they may be the Messiah. And what happened, of course, is they started to treat each other as if each other were the Messiah. So before you know it, there was an energy about the place, and people were attracted to it, and soon there were families playing on the grounds, on the monastery, and more people started to come around and to hear a message of love and tolerance, of peace and understanding through the expression of who they were to each other. So this really is what we are all called to do in spiritual community. You are the Messiah, Kevin. Yeah, all right. That's all we got to say. All right. I can work with that. Right? And so are you. That's the thing. Okay. I am an emanation of the divine, and so is everyone else. It's important we remember that part. So I have no idea where I am in my notes now. Let's see what this slide says. This actually works. So we shall often need to know that the truth which we announce is superior to the condition we are to change. So when the stuff shows up that we don't like so much, right, we choose again. That's all. We don't judge it. Oh my God, here I am with this health thing again. What's wrong with my consciousness? Who cares? Let's heal it. Let's heal it. Here I am, broke again. What do I have to... Let's heal it. Here I am trying to sit down and write this book, and nothing's coming. Let's heal it. Right? Let's start with sitting in front of the computer, maybe. We shall often need to know that the truth which we announce is superior to the condition that we are to change. In other words, if we are speaking from the standpoint of spirit, there can be no opposition to it. It is only when we let go of all human will and recognize the pure essence of the spiritual principle incarnated in us that thought rises above a belief in two rather than one, in a belief of duality. When we learn to look beyond what we think we see and see that which we want to see, then that which we desire, that which... I knew I was going to screw this up. When we learn to look beyond what we think we see and see that which we want to see, then that which we want to see becomes that which we do see. Yes. Of course, I had to write it down to say it. So when we look beyond what we think we see and see that which we want to see, then that which we want to see becomes what we do see. That's Dr. Michael Beckwith came up with that one. Our word made manifest through the Spirit as law. That true prayer must have within it, thy will be done, or this or better. If we're not going to invite the divine in to make the strongest choice, right, to infuse us with the power of discernment to make the highest choice, and to be confident and know that that is part of this creative process, right? Then I think we're doing ourselves a disfavor. True prayer must be, thy will be done. But the implication relative to the will of God in this prayer is not a submission to the inevitability of evil or limitation. It is a knowledge that the will of God is always good. The will of God is always good. So, let's take a deep breath, call our musicians forward. So today, after you stick around for the annual meeting, after we break bread, and you have some time to consider this week ahead of you, for we all have things that we want to experience in our lives this week. Let's just allow ourselves to consider the highest possibility of good for the outcome that we're longing to see made manifest. In fact, let's encourage ourselves to consider an invitation for the divine to express itself by means of our life as that which we long to make manifest. Recognizing and knowing that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life of God, expressing in, through, and as this manifest universe, expressing as you right now. And that your heart's desire right now is impressing itself upon a law of mind that is the very mind of God that's saying, yes, my beloved, yes, in you I am well pleased. We feel a sense of deep gratitude, knowing this truth for ourselves in this moment, knowing this truth for the many moments to come unfolding as our life. And from this place of gratitude, we release it. Allow it to be so. And so it is.
Coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heaven. Will ye go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heaven. Will ye go, lassie, go? I will build my love a bower near yon pure crystal fountains, and on it I will pile all the flowers of the mountains. Will ye go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heaven. Will ye go, lassie, go? Is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heaven. Will ye go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme. All around the blooming heather will ye go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme. All around the blooming heather will ye go, lassie, go.
Doesn't Ken have a great voice?
Thanks.
Yeah, isn't it nice when he sings?
Thank you.
I think it's in your blood.
It is. Yeah.
Is that good news or bad news?
No, it's good.
Okay.
The drinking part wasn't good news, but the voice is good.
All right, so as we prepare our gifts for the offering, we'll invite our ushers forward.
1, 2, 3.
Let's just rub our hands together. We're just going to send you loving energy, or like you do in King Camp. Just send you loving energy right now. Just recognizing and knowing that there is one power, one presence, one source, one life of God expressing as your dad, in through and as your dad. That there's a pattern of perfection even now aligning within him, calling forth radiant good health at every level in mind, body, and spirit. And we're knowing this with you for your dad. Together we release this knowing this so, and so it is. So for these gifts presented here this morning, we're recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented are a demonstration of consciousness that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. So for these generous gifts given here this morning, we, representing the heart of this spiritual community, accept these gifts with deep respect, love, and respect, knowing they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the vision and mission of this center, the life of each person here, the life of anyone connected to this center in any way. We're extending these good tidings to our friends here in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, for our planet as well, that we know that all of it is an emanation of the very divine itself, from the very mind of the divine itself. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. We feel a sense of power and grace and awe and thanksgiving. this which empowers us into ways of spiritual living that raise not only ourselves but those around us, and this is a good thing. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So please help me thank our lovely Swiss Miss, right from Switzerland, the other green country with mountains, and Miss Chloe. Oh, got some cute ones here today. It's always good to speak before the kids. Hi. How you doing? Come on over here where they can see you, Piper. Hi, Ayana. How are you? Good. So, spokespeople today? Micah, come on up here, bud. Let them see your glorious self. How you doing?
Good morning, everyone. Hope you've had a very happy St. Patrick's yesterday. I am the representative for the teens group. Well, today we talked about our highs and lows, we meditated, we did our treatment, and we also discussed about #enough and what our schools did for the walkout on Wednesday. And we talked about faith.
Great. All right. So you connected civics and faith. Yeah, that's all right. All right. Anybody else? Teen? Yes? Oh, would you like to say something, Piper?
Wait, Dad. We forgot coloring.
Oh, you forgot coloring? Well, you can come back next week.
Well, nobody actually colored.
No? What did you do instead?
Well, we just played on the carpet.
Yes. Did you meet Amelia?
And yeah, I take her off her shoes.
Oh, that's nice.
I took off my shoes.
It's fun when there's little ones there, huh? Yeah. So Amelia is she in here with her mom? Oh, there she is with Jessica, her mom. Where? Oh, there she is. You made it in. All right. Another Ayana. We have a date in a couple weeks. We're going to be, yes? We're going to be christening her here at the center on Easter Sunday. Yeah? We're still on, yeah? Good. All right, so teachers, thank you. Would you like to add anything? No? Happy Sunday, all right. So let's thank our teachers, by the way. Since I've taken up all this time, might as well take a little more. I'm going to invite our ministers and practitioners to circle the room. Again, invite you to stick around for a little bit of grub and then our annual meeting. And our new friends, you are most welcome for whatever part of that you want to participate in. And we'll see you next week. Come on up, Wayne.
Immediately after?
No, we're going to eat first.
Okay. Join me in this closing treatment and I invite you to close your eyes if you.
I'm sorry, I just got the high sign. We're going to do the meeting first. So we're going to restore our personal comforts, right? And then we're going to come back. So don't get in line. Come right, because you can't bring, we don't want food in the sanctuary, right? Not in our sanctuary. All right. So we're going to do the closing prayer. We're going to restore our personal comforts. We're going to go back in, and we're going to have a 1-hour annual meeting. I'm setting the intention right now. All right. Okay. Praise up.
And knowing that is so, I invite you to, in this closing treatment, and I just know right here, right now, in this closing treatment, that I invite you to close your eyes if you wish, and just knowing in that place of love, in that place of joy and laughter, I know that there is healing with this oneness. And I just know that everything is spot on today, that it is in that place of love and joy and ease and comfort. And I just allow myself the opportunity to release and let go anything that I don't either have the answers or just want to surrender to God and just know that there is a right and perfect solution. And with a grateful heart, I give thanks for this gathering, I give thanks for this center, and I give thanks for all the love and joy that surrounds this day. Knowing this is so, I release and let go, and together we say, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song. I love to do that. I don't know why. One, two, three, four, five, six. Just two or three? Okay. So we'll stop after washerwoman and I'll just yell stuff out. Here you go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. hit. Like, that's the only way I can hear what I'm doing.